Hi everybody. There are a lot of things I love about gardening, and just one of them is saving money. I especially love it when you can buy a seed or a plant once and have it forever. Some obvious examples are if you buy a fruit tree or a grapevine, something like that that's perennial, asparagus of course, but there's less obvious ones, and I've mentioned a couple already on this channel. You can buy beans from the grocery store that are packed for soup. They're actually seeds. You plant them each year. You save a couple seeds back, hold them back, and replant, and you never have to buy for dry beans, again, soup beans. When you harvest your garlic, pull some of the cloves back, plant it again, and you have garlic forever. The same is true for potatoes. You keep a couple of potatoes over the winter, plant them again in the spring, and you get potatoes. Some plants are less obvious. If you've ever gotten a volunteer plant, then you know how some plants can replant themselves. Now, I've seen videos of people taking like a slice of tomato and planting it and getting tomatoes. And certainly you can do that if you have a long enough growing season. Here in Zone 6, Northeast PA, if we did that, by the time it got warm enough for the plant to grow, it would be not enough time left for it to produce a tomato, not a regular sized tomato. Normally when we plant our tomatoes out, or when these volunteers or what have you start coming up, we already have 6 to 8 weeks in those plants before they're put into the ground. So there just wouldn't be enough time for it to produce. There is an exception, and that's cherry tomatoes. And for anyone who's ever planted cherry tomatoes, you probably find that they reseed themselves easily. So I took some video at work today, and I'm going to play that for you now. You can see here this tomato plant is growing in with some chives. This is the garden where I work. This is not technically part of my job, but since I'm the gardener, I'm the one who does it. Here's another little tomato. There's also some weeds, of course. I pulled out at least half a dozen tomatoes out of this area. There was no tomato exactly here last year, but it was close by. So this is the little volunteer tomato, one that got out away from me. I didn't see, but you can see here, right at the tip of my finger, it has buds on it. Now our other tomatoes that we bought, tomato plants, have tomatoes on them. These are also cherries. This is a Juliet, which I've grown before. You can see they have flowers on them, so they're way ahead. But had I not pulled out those other tomatoes, they'd probably be really close to where this one is now. So we'll get free tomatoes. I did speak to my coworkers who I'd given tomatoes to, volunteers that I pulled up earlier, and they said that they already have tomatoes on there and they should be turning color anytime now. So I might be a little behind with this, but here's the plan. This year I'm going to take 1 or 2 cherry tomatoes from the plants at work that we're growing there, and I'm going to dedicate a bed just to cherry tomatoes. I'm going to put them in an empty spot, just put them underground. Next year I expect there'll be a whole bunch of cherry tomatoes coming up in that bed, like there will be in the bed at work, and I would just have cherry tomatoes pretty much forever. So give it a shot. Free food, why not, right? Happy gardening. Thanks for watching. Here's another little volunteer tomato coming up under the cement. Cherry tomatoes will just grow just about anywhere.